Good night, horror lovers. Welcome to the night of terror, where darkness is coming and your nightmare has just begun. It was a chilly autumn evening, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, a soft, golden glow bathed the small town of Maplewood. In a modest two-story house on the edge of town, 12-year-old Lucy was preparing for a weekend alone. Her parents had gone out of town for a wedding, leaving her in charge. Lucy cheerful. I can't believe I get the whole house to myself. I'll binge watch my favorite shows and eat all the snacks I want. With a mischievous grin, Lucy filled the living room with her favorite movies, grabbing popcorn and settling down on the couch. As the screen flickered to life, she felt a twinge of excitement. But soon that excitement turned to unease. Lucy talking to herself, "It's just me here. Nothing to be scared of, just a movie." The first few hours passed uneventfully, but as midnight approached, the house began to settle into an eerie silence. The only sound was the faint hum of the TV. Just then, Lucy heard it, a soft knock coming from the front door. Lucy slightly nervous. Who could that be? Mom and Dad said not to open the door to anyone. She tiptoed to the door, peeking through the peephole. No one was there. Just as she turned away, she heard it again. A knock, this time more urgent. Lucy whispering, "Maybe it's just the wind." She tried to shake off her fear, returning to the couch. But as she sat down, her phone buzzed on the table. It was a text from her mother. Lucy reading, "Hey honey, everything okay? Don't open the door to anyone." Lucy felt a chill run down her spine. Her heart raced as she glanced at the front door, now feeling like a looming presence in the darkened house. Just as she settled back onto the couch, the lights flickered. Lucy talking to herself, "This is just a power outage. Get a grip, Lucy." But deep down, she knew that something felt off. With each passing minute, her surroundings seemed to grow more sinister. Then, from the corner of her eye, she noticed something outside the window. A shadow moving slowly across the yard. Lucy voice trembling. "Who's there?" She quickly pulled the curtains shut, her mind racing. The shadow lingered for a moment, then disappeared. Was it just her imagination? As she gathered her courage to look again, her phone buzzed once more. This time, it was a strange number. Lucy confused. What the? She opened the message, and her heart sank. It read, "I'm right outside. Let me in." Lucy panicking. No, no, no. She turned her phone off and sat in silence, straining her ears for any sound. The wind howled outside, but now there was another noise, soft scratching at the window. Lucy terrified whisper, "Please stop." Suddenly, the TV flickered and shut off, plunging the room into darkness. Lucy jumped to her feet, grabbing a nearby flashlight. The beam cut through the blackness, revealing nothing but her own fear. Then, just as she thought things couldn't get worse, her phone rang. This time, it was her father. Lucy breathlessly, "Dad?" But there was no response, just a low, crackling static. Then she heard a whisper, barely audible, whispering, "Lucy, let me in." She slammed her phone down, her mind racing. Who was out there? And how did they know her name? The scratching at the window intensified, and panic surged through her veins. Lucy screaming, "Get away from me!" In a fit of fear, Lucy dashed to the back door, locking it tightly. She glanced around the house, searching for any way to secure herself. Her heart pounded like a drum as she barricaded herself in the living room. Just then, the power returned, flooding the room with light. But relief was short-lived when she noticed something chilling. The front door was ajar. Lucy whispers, "No." She took a deep breath, gathering her courage. With the flashlight in one hand, she crept towards the door, her heart racing. Each step felt like a leap into the unknown. As she reached for the doorknob, a voice called from outside, a friendly voice but somehow twisted. Voice whispers, "Lucy, it's me, your friend Sarah. I forgot my jacket. Let me in." Lucy panicking. Sarah? Is that really you?" But the voice sounded different, unnerving. She remembered how Sarah had planned to come over but never did. In that moment, she realized the voice was wrong. Lucy firmly, "No, you can't come in." Suddenly the door swung open, revealing a figure cloaked in shadows, face obscured. Lucy gasped, her blood running cold. With a burst of adrenaline, she turned and sprinted up the stairs, the sound of footsteps following close behind. She dashed into her room, slamming the door shut and locking it. Lucy pressed her back against the door, her breath coming in quick gasps. The footsteps stopped outside, silence enveloping her. But that silence was broken by the soft voice again. Voice whispers, "Lucy, I just want to play." She grabbed her phone, ready to call for help. But as she reached for it, the lights flickered again, plunging her into darkness once more. In the blackness, the whispers grew louder, echoing in her mind, mingling with her panic. Lucy shouting, "Leave me alone." Then in a moment of desperation, she reached for her window, throwing it open and climbing out onto the roof. With the house looming behind her, Lucy looked for a way down. But before she could move, she heard it. The sound of laughter, low and chilling, echoing from within the house. Voice whisper, "Lucy, where are you?" She scrambled to the edge of the roof, her heart racing. Just as she was about to jump, the door to her room swung open, revealing the shadowy figure. Lucy screaming, "No!" With a final leap of faith, she jumped off the roof and landed with a thud on the grass below. Without looking back, she ran into the night, fear propelling her forward. But the laughter continued to chase her, fading into the darkness as she escaped. The next day when the sun rose, Lucy found herself standing at her neighbor's door, shaken but safe. And as her neighbor let her in, she glanced back at her house, now quiet and still. But somewhere deep inside, she knew that whatever had been in there was still watching, waiting for the next time she would be home alone. And sometimes the scariest monsters aren't the ones that lurk in the shadows, but those that know you all too well. That's it for tonight's horror story. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next horror story. Thank you.